Hey group. All right, so now we begin our digestive system. Now this one has a whole lot of information, so actually I'm breaking into three different parts. So let's do one part at a time, shall we? So the first part, digestive system, is ultimately why do we need a digestive system? And we all know it has to do with food. Why do we need food? Maybe we've never really thought about why we need food before. It's delicious, so we eat it. But it's important to talk about why we need it. So let's start there. Why in the world do you need to eat a banana, an apple, a hamburger for our body's sake? You know, everything we do has to have a reason. So there's two main reasons why we need food. Okay, the first has to do with our little animations here. Maybe you can figure it out. But ultimately, food gives us the materials we need to grow and also repair tissue. So here's what I mean. So like you were a little bitty baby, and so was I. And we ate and we got bigger and bigger and bigger. And it's not like our cells expanded and got bigger, we have more and more cells. So food literally provides the materials you need to be us. So you've heard like you are what you eat, like that's very, very true. So think of it like a house, like it's like the wood, the brick, the whatever, like the food actually turns into the materials we need to make us. So our cells were once a banana, hamburger, whatever. So it actually provides us the materials we need. And also, like if you ever get a cut, you need to repair it, you get more cells, they duplicate and they make more, same idea. All those cells, the material to make those cells, came from the stuff that you eat. So more than people realize, we really are what we eat. So that's the first reason that we need food. The second is because of these guys here, okay? It gives us energy. So it gives us the materials we need to be us, but it also gives us energy so we can walk and talk and jump around on beds and things like that, okay? So that's the two main reasons we need food. Give us what we need to do to become us, and also the energy we get from food. Now, second thing in part one is what does the digestive system actually do? What's the main reason that we need it to survive? So there's three main reasons. One, this little picture here. Maybe you've heard of these fancy words. I just told you we need to use food for energy, but it's not like we literally take a piece of bread and we're made up of a little piece of bread or a steak or whatever. So what happens is our digestive system takes the bread, takes the meat, takes the butter, takes whatever, and it breaks it into these itty bitty little pieces that we can then use, okay? Because we need amino acids and glucose and fatty acids. So everything we eat, for the most part, is made up of all these different things. So our digestive system breaks it into little pieces so we can actually use the food. Because we can't just use a piece of bread. We can use the materials inside of a piece of bread. And the second thing is that after it breaks it down, so it breaks it down to amino acids or whatever, then the digestive system also is responsible for then taking that and then giving it to the bloodstream. And there it goes to the rest of the body. But ultimately, in our small intestine in particular, it takes out all these little nutrients that it just broke down and grabs them out. So it's the breaker downers, and it's also the grabbers of all the good stuff that we need. And the third, okay, maybe you can figure out here, and we'll keep our picture like this so it's not so gross. It breaks down the things we need, it takes out the stuff we need, but the reality is a lot of stuff that we eat in food we don't need. So it helps us get rid of all the stuff we don't need. And we'll leave it at that. Okay. The second, or the third part in our part one of digestion is to make sure that you know the different types. There's two main types of digestion. The first, okay, is like what this cow is doing right here, okay? Or maybe this will give you a little bit of a hint, kind of, maybe, okay? He's a mechanic, okay, so mechanical digestion. And what that is, mechanical essentially means like movement, is that so part of our digestive system, what we do is we actually physically break down food. So like a key example is you give the cow hay or whatever, and it's chewing it into small pieces. We take, again, a banana or whatever, and we chew it into mush. So that's mechanical digestion. We're actually moving and digesting stuff. This happens inside of our stomach too, where it churns. And so there's actually movement to break things down, physically breaking things down into smaller pieces. But then the other type is how this happens, and also what saliva is main purposes, and also our acids. So like we have acids in our stomach, we have saliva, we have chemicals. Okay, so the reason we have chemicals is because there's chemical digestion. And sometimes we forget that the acid in our stomach is really pretty intense and can break stuff down. And our saliva in our mouth is there for a reason, to chemically digest. So what that means is, without even moving, like if you ever put like a piece of food in your mouth and you don't chew it, it's still going to start dissolving into small pieces because of the chemicals. So chemical reactions happen without any movement. That's your chemical digestion. And that ends part one of our digestive system. So to continue on, definitely watch the next video, which will cover part two, which is what the organs do and the path that food takes.